Okay, so for today, our discussions about student-centered learning approaches, no? Which cover the constructivist teaching methods, inquiry-based and problem-solving learning, and differentiated instructions, no? Okay, so in modern education, no, student-centered learning approaches have become a fundamental in shifting the focus from teacher-led instruction to active, no? So student-driven learning experiences. And these approaches recognize that students learn best when they are engaged, take responsibility for their learning, and connect knowledge to real-world application. Three key models of student-centered learning include constructivist, no, teaching methods, inquiry-based, and the problem-based learning, and differentiated instruction. Each of these methodologies offers unique, no, strategies for fostering deep understanding, critical thinking, and individualized learning experience. So, constructivism is a learning theory, no, that emphasizes the active role of learners, no, in constructing their knowledge rather than passively receiving information from teachers. So it is based on the works of Jean Piaget, no, Lev Vygotsky, and John Dewey, no, who argued that learners build their understanding through experiences, no, social interaction, and problem-solving activities. No? Constructivist teaching encourages students to explore, ask questions, and draw conclusion based on their experiences, making learning a meaningful and personal process. The key principles of constructivist teaching, no? The constructivist teaching follows these fundamental principles. No? Active learning. No? Students are engaged in hands-on tasks, discussions, and problem solving rather than just listening to lectures. No? Another is the prior knowledge. So learning builds on or learning are engaged in hands-on tasks. No? And for prior knowledge, I mean, learning builds on what students already know, encouraging connections between prior experiences and new knowledge. We have social interaction, no? So collaboration and discussions with peers enhance understanding and help students refine their ideas. And the authentic relearning task, no? Real-world applications and problem-solving scenarios, no, make learning relevant. The strategies for constructivist teaching, because several instructional strategies support constructive learning in the classroom. So we have the project-based learning. No, students work on projects that require them not to research, plan, and create solution. Another is the collaborative learning. So group work, peer discussions, and cooperative projects help students construct knowledge together. And the scaffolding, no? Teacher provide temporary support to help students reach higher levels of understanding gradually, no? Reducing assistance as they gain confidence, actually, no? And the hands-on experiments, so practical activities, pwedeng simulation, and role-playing engage students in experiential learning. So what are the benefits and challenges of constructivist teaching? The benefits, of course, it encourages critical thinking and problem-solving skills. It enhances engagement and motivation, so by making learning meaningful, and foster independent learning and self-directed. Okay, how about the inquiry-based and problem-solving learning? No, so understanding inquiry-based learning, because IBL or an inquiry-based learning is a teaching approach where the student can ask questions, no, investigate solutions, and construct knowledge through exploration and through discovery. So unlike traditional instruction where teachers provide direct answers, IBL encourages students to analyze, experiment, and draw conclusions independently. In this method, focus curiosity, creativity, and deep understanding of subjects. So what will be the steps in inquiry-based learning? The inquiry process typically follows, number one is questioning. The student generate question based on a topic or a real world problem. Number two, investigation. So they research, they collect data, or they experiment to find answers. Next will be the analysis. The students interpret data and connect findings to existing knowledge. Number four, discussion and reflection. The learners or the students share insights, debate perspectives, and refine their understanding. And lastly will be the presentation of findings. They communicate conclusion through reports, presentation, or the projects. How about the problem-based learning or the PBL? This is a specific type of inquiry-based learning where students solve complex real-world problems. Instead of memorizing facts, students engage in structured problem solving that requires them critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. So how will be able to implement the problem-based learning in the classroom? So number one, we need to present a real-world problem. So the teacher introduce a challenging, open-ended problem relevant to the student lives. Next, facilitate research and inquiry. So students gathered information, brainstorm solution, and test their hypothesis. And next will be encourage collaboration. So group work and discussion help students refine their ideas and develop and present solutions. So students propose evidence-based solutions and reflect on their learning process. What will be the benefits and challenges of IBL and PBL? So the benefits, of course, it develop research and analytical skills. It encourages collaborative learning and teamwork, and it prepares students to real-world problem solving in their future careers. But the challenges, of course, it requires significant time and planning. Another challenge is assessment of inquiry-based learning can be difficult to standardize. And lastly, some students may struggle with self-direction and ambiguity. Now, differentiated instruction. So understanding differentiated instruction is very important because differentiated instruction or ID is a teaching approach that tailors instruction to meet diverse student needs. It acknowledges that the students have different learning styles, they have different abilities, and they have different interests and backgrounds, and provide multiple pathways for learning. This method actually ensures that all students, regardless of their strengths and weaknesses, can access the curriculum effectively. So the key elements of differentiated instruction. The differentiated instruction typically involve modification in 4 key areas. Number one is the content, because adjusting what the students learn, providing different reading materials based on skill level. Next will be the process, varying how students learn, using visual, either auditory, and kinesthetic activities. The product, allowing different ways to demonstrate learning, either essay, presentation, or videos, and learning environments. So creating flexible classroom setups to accommodate different learning needs. What will be the strategies for implementing differentiated instruction? Number one, flexible grouping, because students work in varied groups based on skills, interests, or readiness level. Choice boards allow students to select different tasks or assignment based on their preferences. Another is tiered assignment, provide different level of complexity to match student abilities. Next will be the learning station, set up activity station where students rotate through tasks based on their learning styles. And another is the technology integration. So use educational software to provide personalized learning experiences. Differentiated instruction for diverse learners, We have gifted learners, right? So offer enrichment activities and advanced projects to challenge them. We have struggling learners, we need to provide scaffolding, guided practice, and one-on-one support. English language learners, use visual, bilingual resources, and simplified instruction, and student with disabilities. One accommodation such as audiobooks, extended time, or adaptive tools. So what will be the benefits and challenges of differentiated instruction? Benefits, it helps all students succeed regardless of skill level. It increases student engagement and motivation and support inclusive education by addressing diverse needs. So the challenges, no, it requires extensive planning and preparation. Some teachers may find it difficult to manage multiple instructional strategies. And lastly, it can be time-consuming to implement effectively. So to cut it short, student-centered learning approaches, including constructivist teaching methods, inquiry-based and problem-based learning, and differentiated instruction are essential in fostering a more engaging, meaningful, and effective learning environment. And these approaches empower students to take ownership of their learning, enhance critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, and accommodate diverse learning needs. While these methods required careful planning and skilled facilitation, they ultimately lead to higher student engagement, better knowledge retention, and a more dynamic classroom experience as educators continue to adopt student-centered approaches. They will cultivate lifelong learners who are prepared for the challenges of the 21st century. Okay, so yun po yung topic number 2.